What's up, everybody? Passion here again, and welcome back to my coverage of E3 2018. This time, we're going to be doing a wrap up of the Sony PlayStation Conference. I got a lot of stuff to say about this conference, so buckle in. It's going to be a crazy ride. I'm going to give my go over everything that was announced, give my thoughts on it along the way, and I'll give you guys a letter grade and a most anticipated game of show at the end. So, basically, all of Sony's big games, minus one or two surprises, were basically laid out for us completely on the table before the show even started. I think it was either a week or a few days before E3. Sony kind of showed off everything that their main pillar games that they're going to be talking about for E3. So because of this, we knew we were getting stuff for The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding, and Marvel Spider-Man. And it's the whole conference kind of started in this weird pop-up church kind of thing. And honestly, I think the show probably would have been even worse if they had stayed in this place for the whole show. But we will get to that absurdity in a little bit. So next we got a live musical performance for The Last of Us Part 2. And the composer for The Last of Us Part 2 came out with a banjo to play the series' iconic theme. And for a brief second, I was actually still excited for this show and what it had to offer. Hearing that tune, it really got me in the mood to soak in, all the upcoming gameplay I was about to witness. Of course, nobody would have known who that guy was just playing the banjo randomly. I don't even think half the people knew the song he was playing. But the only reason that I realized that's what was happening was because the name that Shawn Layden announced sounded kind of vaguely familiar, and the song, of course, sounded familiar. That was the only way I kind of knew that, this is the composer for The Last of Us, is because I just recognized those things. They didn't really explain who he was. Shawn Layden just kind of said his name. He didn't really introduce, what he did or why it was important or anything. He didn't, connect anything together. It's only if you recognize that tune he was playing that you would realize, oh yeah, he's the composer for The Last of Us. So, kind of a lazy thing, and this is the first of many instances in this conference of Sony's laziness, but we'll get through all of that in due time. So next, of course, we got a gameplay demo for The Last of Us Part 2. So, at this point, I was pumped, right? I was pretty pumped for the show. I mean, the PS4 was the main console that I owned. I mean, yes, as much as I love the Xbox show, unless the games they were showing were multi-platform or coming to PC, they were out of my reach, because I did not own an Xbox. But I did, however, own a PS4, so all of these games would be playable to me. So this was the one that had a lot more relevance to me. And it was in this cutscene before the actual gameplay started that I realized why the crowd was in this weird church tent kind of thing, because it's actually a replica of the one found in this cutscene for The Last of Us Part 2. So, the building they were in is a replica of the building the gameplay demo takes in, which that was kind of cool. I did think it was kind of cool for about a minute. It's still kind of stupid from a technical standpoint of putting on an E3 conference, but at least that was kind of a neat way to show off the game. If it wasn't at E3 and they had just kind of done this as a special event for The Last of Us Part 2, I would have thought it was much cooler. But being E3, it kind of took away some of it. So you have to understand here that I did go into this conference, however, in not the best of moods. You see, I was actually browsing around Twitter, as any excited E3 watcher does, going through the hashtags, looking up everything that everybody's talking about, sharing in the hype, when I came across a tweet from someone who had just finished watching the Ubisoft conference earlier that day, and they said something along the lines of, I'm just paraphrasing here, this year is proof that E3 belongs to the LGBT. Straight people aren't allowed to like these games. And despite my best effort, spending probably about half an hour to an hour trying to find that exact tweet to put into this video here, I couldn't find it. I searched for many minutes and I could not find it. So I did find these similar tweets that you're seeing pop up on screen here, so that the sentiment was very much mutual for a lot of people. It wasn't just this one outlying tweet. This was a kind of a shared kind of, belief about E3. So I've known, and a lot of people have known, that Ellie has been gay since the DLC for the first game called Left Behind, which I did play, and I did really like that DLC. I thought that they handled the subject of Ellie being gay with class and with dignity. Here, though, when Ellie kisses the girl that she dances with at this party, I'm not convinced that they did it as tastefully. I mean, yes, from a technical standpoint, like if you're looking at it purely from a technical standpoint and not a political standpoint, then it is really impressive. I mean, kissing animations are hard, and they did a really good job with it, technically, but in terms of, the political side of it, I don't think it was that good. In fact, I'm going to argue that it was done much worse in this gameplay demo than in Left Behind. So, this is my problem with this demo, okay? First off, they capitalized off of Pride Month, because, of course, June is Pride Month, so they had to, so they felt like, ooh, since it's Pride Month, let's release a big E3 trailer for this new game, and make sure to include a gay moment in there for all the people watching who are psyched about Pride Month. So it felt really, exploitative of the LGBT community, so it's like the trending hashtag E3 and hashtag E3 2018 hashtags on Twitter was not good enough for Sony. They wanted to also ride on the hashtag LGBT, hashtag Pride, hashtag Pride Month hashtags too, and it was, like I said, it was so obviously exploitative of the LGBT community. It was really kind of appalling. However, that's secondary to all the gatekeeping of all these amazing games shown off at E3 by the LGBT community. I'm not even entirely 100% straight, and I still take offense to the gay community declaring that straight people do not have the permission to enjoy these games too. So, even the gatekeeping, though, even the gatekeeping was not the most offensive thing in this conference. Now, I don't bash on video game violence. I understand it's a natural part of the medium, and when it's done not just for the sake of violence itself, it's usually serving a pretty good purpose. However, when you feature two lesbians kissing, immediately followed by one of them shanking a cis-straight white male in the fucking neck till he dies, that's different. When I saw that happen, I could practically hear all the LGBT extremists all over the world who want to see all cis-white straight males wiped out by genocide cry out in celebration over this gameplay demo. Don't believe me that these people kind of exist? Go search hashtag #KillAllWhiteMen on Twitter. It exists. These people are out there, and now, thanks to Sony, they now have a game they can call their own. Because, hooray, you get to play as a lesbian that kills cis straight white guys. Isn't that fun? So, I have never, ever in my 18-plus years of gaming gone from super hyped for a sequel to a beloved series to immediately hating it so fast. I love the first game. I put it at number 6 on my top 15 favorite games of all time. If you're on YouTube, you can click the iCard on screen to go watch that video. But this demo just killed all the love that I had for the franchise. But, rant over, what about the gameplay? It's boring. Really boring. Just like with all of the games you'll see tonight, it looks pretty, visually pretty, but not fun. The fun part about The Last of Us for me was the unique zombies that you'd have to fight and avoid. However, in this demo, all Ellie does is fight generic post-apocalyptic raider dudes and dudettes. Like, there's nothing special about the enemies she's fighting. Nothing that screams Last of Us to me. It looks just like Tomb Raider or Uncharted or Days Gone, or not even Days Gone, because even Days Gone had zombies. But where are the zombies? Is what I want to know, And the reason that The Last of Us is even called The Last of Us, and not just Fallout Tomb Raider Edition, is the zombies. So, where are they? So, I didn't think that Sony could get even more generic with their gameplay demos than they did with Days Gone from last year, but they've gone and done it. So, next, I have here in my notes, I just had to read the title of this one out loud. It's called The Show Started, What Show? You mean the one we were getting ready to do? So, remember when I said earlier that the show would have been worse if they had stayed in that tent? Well, yeah, they didn't. It doesn't make the show any better, though, because what they did was still pretty stupid and idiotic. But they had everyone in attendance in that little tent get up from their seat and walk to the actual theater where they had the rest of the games to show off. Of course, this takes time when you're doing it live. If this was some kind of, like, you know, pre-recorded video thing, they could have cut to that right away and not broken the pace of the reveal. But, of course, they're doing it live, so everyone has to get up, walk out of the tent, file into the theater, and sit back down again. So what did Sony do when all this was happening? They had this, like, cringy pre-show thing and acted like the show hadn't even started yet. What? Dude, we literally just saw you start the show and get through a whole 10-minute gameplay demo. Why are the panelists talking about the show as if it hasn't even begun yet? So, next we have... I gotta read this title out loud, too. Here's your Call of Duty Black Ops 4 pre-order bonus, everyone. So next we had probably the single worst trailer at E3. Even worse than Command & Conquer Rivals. I'm gonna say this right now. This was even worse than Command & Conquer Rivals. So here I am, actually getting pretty hyped for Black Ops 4, thinking about possibly picking it up for PC, since it's launching on Battle.net, which is, I really like that client. It's a really good client. And as this trailer drops, it shows off 4 classic Black Ops 1 maps that will be coming to multiplayer that you will get when you pre-order Black Ops 4. And considering how Black Ops 1 was the first ever Call of Duty I ever played, that was hyped. I was super hyped for that. It was amazing. And then Sony decided to slap me across the face. Because, yeah, these 4 awesome classic Black Ops 1 multiplayer maps that you get with pre-ordering Black Ops 4, guess what? They aren't for Black Ops 4. They're for Black Ops 3. As in, the Call of Duty that came out 3 goddamn years ago. Oh, and it's also only for PlayStation anyway. So if you're pre-ordering on PC, you get nothing. Thanks! So this is going to be the stupidest pre-order bonus I have ever seen, and that includes the infamous Second Son condoms and the Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag football. Like, this is even worse than those. So once again, Sony confirms the kill on my hype for another game. So next we got, okay, so I don't want to spoil this one here until I actually get to it. So, guys, don't worry. The next announcement is going to totally turn things around, right? We got a brand new sequel of a classic fan-favorite franchise. It was coming, and it was PS4 exclusive with PSVR support. You hyped yet? Yeah? Good, because it's fucking Tetris. Tetris Effect, to be precise. Fucking fantastic. Thank you. We really needed another Tetris game, especially on our expensive console hardware. I can't wait to drop $600 on a PS4 Pro and a PSVR to play fucking Tetris. Thanks. So, the stupidity continues with not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 TV spots. They couldn't even be bothered to do trailers. So, the first TV spot we got was for Days Gone. And it's literally just... It's Days Gone. Like, it's a TV spot for Days Gone. I mean, yeah, it shows some of the zombies, but it's like, whatever. Then we got a TV spot for Twin Mirror, which is a game from the Life is Strange developers over at Don't Nod. And maybe, just maybe, if this was an actual Life is Strange game, I would have given at least a little bit of a shit. But it's not. It doesn't even take place in the Life is Strange universe. It's not a sequel to Life is Strange. It's not a sequel to Before the Storm. It's not a sequel to Captain Spirit. It has nothing to do with Life is Strange whatsoever. Great. So the next TV spot we got was for a new PSVR title from the developers of the EA Originals title Fee, which admittedly this one actually did pique my interest a little bit. It's called Ghost Giant, and it looks to be some kind of like puzzle/god sim game that sees you playing as a giant spirit that inhabits this world full of anthropomorphic animals. They kind of remind me a lot of the Animal Crossing characters. So I really do like the concept, but Let's hope that it's not a PSVR exclusive, because this is in no way a system seller for the PSVR. And then the final TV spot that we got was for Beat Saber, coming to PSVR. And if you don't know what Beat Saber is, it's a rhythm game that uses lightsabers to cut through blocks to the music. It's like based on, the blocks are based on rhythm, and you cut them to the song. Thing is, though, unless you already have a PSVR and don't have the option to get it on PC, I'd just say get it on PC, because it's already out on PC. Don't bother waiting for it on PSVR. Don't buy a PSVR for this game. In fact, don't even buy a Vive or Rift for this game. I've played it. Really not a system seller. You can pretty much play through all the songs in this game in 30 minutes. And you know, unless you're already invested in VR, don't bother with Beat Saber. It's not really a big system seller. Oh, and by the way, none of those last 5 announcements were new. Sony revealed them days before E3, so they weren't leaked. Sony just decided to show them off as a part of their stupid artsy little E3 thing they did this year. Great. So next, we actually finally did get back to the proper trailers, with a cinematic trailer for the expansion for Destiny 2 called Forsaken. And this trailer really heavily emphasized the fact that Cade 6, the witty Hunter Vanguard, voiced by Nathan Fillion in the game, will die in this expansion. That would be a really emotional and hard-hitting thing if anyone was still playing Destiny 2. I mean, I own it myself on PC, haven't even finished the main story, can't be bothered to care anymore about this game. I'm just kind of done with it. So, finally, the main auditorium had been filled and everyone had taken their seats again. And, yeah, all this time, they were still waiting for people to get into the auditorium. Of all the past reveals since I told you about The Last of Us Part 2, they've been waiting for people to get into the auditorium. So, finally, the auditorium had been filled, and they were greeted by an old white guy in traditional Japanese garb playing a traditional Japanese instrument. And, of course, this is the live music demo and gameplay demo for Ghost of Tsushima. Now, not gonna lie, on the surface, with absolutely zero context, which of course there was a complete absence of context here, this looks incredibly racist. It was only when a Twitter account I actually hate, I don't even like this Twitter account, I just happened to find it, they pointed out that the man is named Cornelius Boots, and he is one of the very few people still alive on this earth that the Japanese officially recognize to be a master of that instrument he is playing. But here's the thing. I shouldn't have to randomly find that out from a random Twitter account to understand the context of why this person is on my screen doing what he's doing. I didn't need a super long-winded explanation. Shawn Wayne didn't need to come out and say, okay guys, just so you know, this is not racist. This is who this guy is. This is why he's here. And we're totally not racist, you guys. Just believe us. But I didn't need a super big, long explanation like that. Just a simple, on-screen overlay, with his name and his profession. Just like all the executives and developers get when they're on screen. That would suffice. Because I'm not the only one who is understandably confused and misjudging the situation as Sony Interactive Entertainment America just being lazy and racist. There were a few other people that I did see thinking that it was racist because there was no context given. We didn't know who this guy was. Sony didn't explain it. They just threw him out on stage and expected people to know what the hell's going on. I don't know. And it was even more cringy with how it sounded like he was playing a weird version of Sandstorm by Darude. I know he wasn't. That couldn't have been the song he was playing, but it sounded just like it sounded like that's what it was, and it was just facepalm worthy regardless. So then, of course, we went into the actual gameplay demo for Ghost of Tsushima, and this was so unbelievably disappointing. From the opening couple minutes of the demo, I knew that this game was just trying to show off the graphical power of the PS4. Nothing about the gameplay seemed unique and interesting. The combat looked like it was ripped straight from every other game with sword fighting, and also the fact that everyone spoke English except for one guy in the trailer, who I don't even know if he was speaking Japanese. I don't even think he was speaking Japanese. He might have been speaking some other language. But almost everyone spoke English, and that was just super immersion breaking. Because you put all this work into making every aspect of your game as historically accurate as possible, and then you have one of your characters crack a one-liner to the player character in English. What the hell, Sucker Punch? What are you smoking over there? What's the deal? This demo had something to do with rescuing some monk or whatever. I don't know. I kind of tuned out at this point, to be honest. So, in lieu of showing something new from Media Molecule's new game, Dreams, that was teased all the way back in 2015, Sony decided to instead put these little bumper videos in between each game trailer, each reveal, without showing us anything new specifically about the game itself. Granted, they did go into some gameplay later during the live streams, and I'll talk a little bit about that, but by then I think most people had tuned out and figured that that was it. They weren't going to show anything. So, I actually overheard on, I think it was like through their audio feed, IGN, because I watched the IGN streams for E3, and they were questioning after the conference ended whether or not they should cut back to their panelists to discuss everything, after the conference was over. It just goes to show how completely disorganized Sony's entire show was. So then we went into a cinematic trailer for Control. Now, this is the reveal of Remedy Entertainment's new project, and honestly, I'm surprised that this game is going to be actually coming to the PS4, and that it was even shown off at the Sony stage at all, because their last game, Quantum Break, was an Xbox exclusive. And I kind of figured that they were just going to be a first-party Xbox developer, but I guess not. I guess they're now multi-plat. And they gave us a cinematic trailer for the game here, and really, it just wasn't all that interesting. It was incredibly cryptic and confusing, and just didn't really show what the game was going to be, other than some kind of third-person action game with supernatural powers and a female protagonist. That's about it. Like, they didn't really talk about it all that much. Next, there was actually one of the only legitimate surprises out of Sony's entire show. And since everything leading up to this point ranged anywhere from boring to downright infuriating, I actually got pretty excited for this. If only for the fact that it was an actual fucking surprise. So that was the cinematic trailer for the remake of Resident Evil 2. And of course, in retrospect, it's not as exciting, but the tease and build-up to the reveal of Leon's face to rapturous applause once the fans realized that this was an RE2 remake was perfect. That Sony, that's how you do an E3 show. That's how it's done, and I will give Sony credit here because it is most certainly due. This was a great reveal, and who knows, I may even pick this up. Probably not on PS4, but I might pick it up on another system. So then we got a gameplay trailer for Trover Saves the Universe. So this is a new PlayStation exclusive with PSVR support, and it's an action platformer created by the mind behind Rick and Morty, Justin Roiland. Of course, he provides all the voice work in the game as well. Now, I actually kind of hate Rick and Morty, thanks to the fans shoving the Pickle Rick meme down my throat until I regurgitated it. But even without Justin Roiland, like, this barely looks like a game. Like, it looks like something that I could probably put together in about a month with a few $1,000s of assets bought from the Unity store. And I don't even know how to use Unity at all, so it looks amateur as all hell. In fact, it looks like someone's homework assignment from some game development class in college. And yet, I know that this game is still going to sell like hotcakes. It's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, because those Justin Roiland fanboys just can't get enough of that annoying douche. So, what are you going to do? And next we got a gameplay trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3. Yes, ladies and gents, we got not one, but two Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers at E3 this year, and I guess they kind of did that to make up for the long wait of the series, but this one was very similar to the one at the Xbox and Square Enix shows, and featured that same Hikaru Utada song, but with different footage this time, showing off the Pirates of the Caribbean Kingdom and the Hercules Kingdoms, as well as different footage from the Toy Story and Frozen Kingdoms. Also, Kairi is in the game. Yes, thank you very much for adding one of my favorite characters into the game. I was worried she wasn't going to be in it, but she's in it, so that's good. It was also revealed that there will not only be a limited edition Kingdom Hearts 3 PS4 Pro hitting store shelves when the game launches, But people who buy Kingdom Hearts 3 on PS4, this doesn't even look like it's a pre-order bonus, like it looks like it just comes with the game. You'll also be getting Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5, as well as Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue for PS4, all in one package. So, I guess Kingdom Hearts, if you haven't ever played Kingdom Hearts, and you really do want to get into it, like if you don't have the other games, then you definitely need to get it on PS4, because then you'll get pretty much all the Kingdom Hearts games on PS4. Except, you know, the, actually, well, I guess the 1.5 and 2.5 do include, you know, the remasters of the mobile versions, or like the handheld versions of Kingdom Hearts. So yeah, you will be getting pretty much every Kingdom Hearts game all at once on PS4. Like, luckily I do have the other Kingdom Hearts games on PS3, and I will continue to play those. But if you have never played Kingdom Hearts and you want to start playing Kingdom Hearts, get Kingdom Hearts 3 on PS4. You're gonna get all those extra Kingdom Hearts games, and that'll be the place to jump in if you haven't jumped into the series already. Actually, I can't wait for Kingdom Hearts 3 to come out. Like, I'm super stoked about it. I won't be getting it on PS4 because, like I said, I already have the other two games, but I will be getting it at some point. And next, we got a gameplay demo for Death Stranding, and you know, even with the first actual gameplay demo showed off for Hideo Kojima's new Fever Dream, we still don't understand a single goddamn thing about it. I mean, I would love to tell you what happens in the demo, but it's so confusing, and it would just hurt my brain trying to make sense of it all. And all we seem to know is that it's going to have a bunch of celebrities in there, and it will be a third-person adventure game. That's pretty much all we know. Honestly, I am still intrigued, but I'm going to wait to see if it comes out on other systems at a later date. And if it doesn't, I'll just wait till the PS4 is super cheap and then pick it up. And then if I still give a damn about it, you know, like I probably won't. I mean, I didn't give a damn about Horizon Zero Dawn like a year after that game came out, so I don't know. But if I still give a damn about it, I'll maybe pick it up when it's all cheap. Next, we got a cinematic trailer for Neo 2. Now, to Sony's credit, this was another actual surprise announcement. Nobody knew this was coming, and they just threw it out there. And I know it's one that fans really did want. However, I never cared about the first Neo, don't really care about the sequel, especially since I had absolutely nothing but a cinematic trailer to show with no hint of gameplay whatsoever. And it wasn't even the kind of cinematic trailer that gives you a good sense of the game world or anything. It was just kind of a dumb reveal. And next, we got a gameplay demo for Marvel's Spider-Man. So this gameplay demo saw Spider-Man entering the Raft, which is some sort of prison island where he has to control a riot that's happening. And nearly every minor criminal he's put away in the last 8 years comes to join in on the fight. But it's when Spidey runs into Electro, Rhino, Vulture, and Scorpion that he actually gets his ass kicked. And at the end of the demo, someone appears that makes Spidey react in disbelief. We don't know who this is because it cuts away before we can see them. Some think it's going to be Spider-Gwen, and I tend to agree. I think that would be actually pretty cool if it was Spider-Gwen and you actually got to play as Spider-Gwen in the game. Now, while it wasn't really a surprise, at least the gameplay demo was leaps and bounds better than last year's, and showed that this wasn't going to be some cheapo movie tie-in game with pretty visuals like the last one did make it out to be. The gameplay elements for a good Spider-Man game are in there. It's just that I really don't care. I can't care about this game. This isn't something I'm rushing to pre-order. This isn't something I'm going to buy close to launch. It's really not even something that's really worth my money. Maybe if I rented it or something, but I don't know. So after Spider-Man, the actual conference ended on the stage. And it was around this point that I stopped watching the show. But I figured just for the sake of thoroughness, we should go over what was discussed and revealed in the live stream after the show. So the first thing we got was a reveal for a new PSVR game from Software, of all people, called Decine. Now, when searching for info about this game for this wrap-up, I did find out that Decine is actually a word that means to feel, quote, uprooted or displaced from one's geographical or social environment, end quote. So there was nothing in this trailer that hinted at what this could be referring to, other than some narration about someone becoming a fairy, I guess. But according to some interviews I've read, it's going to be an action-style point-and-click game in VR, obviously. So I honestly don't know what to think about this game, since there wasn't... Yeah, there was nothing really that piqued my interest, but there also really wasn't anything that turned me off to it either. So we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. I can't imagine that this is going to be a PSVR exclusive. They probably will bring this to other platforms at some time, but we'll just have to see what it is. And then we got another Spider-Man gameplay demo, this time focused more on the open world of New York than an actual level. And I do have to say, it does look really good. It looks like Spider-Man 2 for the PS2, but perfected, which is what everyone wanted. So I won't go too deep into it here, because I kind of just want to get to these last few games talked about during the live stream. But honestly, if you are a PS4 fan, I would get excited for this game. I personally am not. I'm not going to go pick it up, but, you know, this does look like it's going to be a good game. And next, we did get the gameplay demo for Dreams, and after an interview with Sucker Punch about Ghost of Tsushima that I'm not going to talk about because, you know, they just basically played the same demo again with the devs talking about the game, we did get that actual gameplay demo of Dreams, and like I said earlier in the wrap-up, Dreams didn't have a presence on the actual stage except for the little bumper videos that came in between trailers. But during the live stream, they actually did show off more of the game, and everything Media Molecule promised about the game all those years ago is still here. You can really do anything you want with the creative tools in Dreams. You can create a painting, you can make music, you can make movies, you can make games, all of that good stuff. Obviously, it's going to use the assets within Dreams, so I don't think you're going to go, like, pick up Dreams and then recreate Final Fantasy VII, like, in Dreams. Like, it's not going to happen. But it's just, like, it's all the simple stuff in the game, and it's all kind of in the same aesthetic. But the possibilities of what you can create are actually pretty staggering. So, finally, we closed it out with a sizzle reel of both upcoming and currently available PSVR games. These included Trover Saves the Universe, Tetris Effect, Moss, Ghost Giant, Beat Saber, Firewall Zero Hour, Doom VFR, Creed Rise to Glory, Evasion, Star Trek Bridge Crew, The Persistence, Star Child, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim VR, Jupiter and Mars, Astrobot Rescue Mansion, Vacation Simulator, and Superhot VR. So that was the Sony conference. That was everything that was talked about. So if I had to give it a letter grade, I think you know where I'm going to go with this. I'm giving it a letter grade of an F. Where do I begin with how bad this show was? It was probably the worst E3 that I have personally experienced. And I'd actually argue that shows such as Nintendo 2008 and Konami 2010 were better, because at least they were so cringy you could laugh at them. This was no laughing matter. Honestly, I shouldn't have been as harsh as I was to Bethesda's show last year. That was more like a D show. This, however, this is a truly failed show in every sense of the word. It didn't just not excite me, it straight up angered me a few times. It was so bad that it was one of the contributing factors in why I recently sold my PS4. However, the biggest reason came the following day when Nintendo had their Direct. So, I'm going to spoil a little bit of the Nintendo Direct here, because when Nintendo revealed Fortnite for the Switch, I was super excited to play it on there, only to find that my account would not work on that system because it was linked to a PS4, and you couldn't get it to work even if you unlinked it. And turns out, Sony did this purely because they don't want crossplay between their competitors' systems and their systems. The former head of PlayStation actually said that Sony doesn't want you buying something on Xbox and then using it on PlayStation. That's the entire reason why they're doing this. So I lost many hours of progression and hundreds of dollars in purchases on my Fortnite account because Sony just doesn't want to play ball on crossplay. And here's the kicker. Even if I had never linked my PS4 to my account, I'd still be screwed. Because a hacker once actually got into my Fortnite account and linked his PS4 anyway, which would have yielded the same result. I'd still be locked out from my Nintendo Switch version. So, I only ever linked my PS4 to keep him locked out. So, that was the last straw. After supporting Sony for 18 years now through multiple console generations, I'm done. I'll give them another chance maybe once the PS5 rolls around, but I'm aiming for an Xbox in the near future instead. I'm going to finish out this generation with Xbox. Screw PS4. They're not, you know, the company that they're not the brand that I supported all those years ago. So my most anticipated game of show, which I will still give you because even a failing show deserves the most anticipated game, Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm super stoked for that one. The irony is, though, that I'm actually not anticipating this game on Sony's hardware, but on Xbox instead, because it is coming to Xbox for the first time. So, yeah. So my most anticipated game for the PlayStation Conference is actually not a PlayStation game. So, anyways, that's going to do it for me here. I still have the Nintendo Conference, or the Direct, I should say, to cover, and I will be hitting that up in the coming days. So make sure you look forward to that, and I will see you guys with the next one. Peace out.